はあジンさん。
どうも、チンポです。チンのチンにチンポでチンポです。
いやもうそれただのチンポじゃないかい。
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Me and Grant today coming with you more Gintama as always. And today we're going to be talking about the second animated movie, Gintama, the final chapter, Forever Yorozuya.
Great movie. I really enjoyed this one. And it's not really the final chapter.
Yeah, so I did some research onto why it's called the final chapter here. It was announced in August 2012. This was actually written by Sorachi as well, so that was pretty cool. You know, this was way before the manga ended. They said, yeah, no, we know this is not the end of the series, but this was to be essentially the last production that Sunrise did for Gintama. I don't think Sunrise works on the anime after this point. Sorachi decided to write it as an essential end piece for Sunrise's journey through Gintama.
That makes sense.
But after reading the series, the ending, well, technically both endings for the manga, you can really tell this is what Sorachi had in plan already. For the movie, there's a lot of similarities with how it ends for the movie and the series together, similar to how the latest My Hero movie, Heroes Rising, that feels like that's the end of the series, and so the mangaka over there mentioned that, yeah, this was my original idea for the ending, but I have something else in mind, so I decided to make it a movie. So it's kind of similar in that fashion.
It's like an alternate ending, you could say.
Yeah. It really is a lot of similarities compared to the end of the manga here. And I think that's probably why I got confused with Kagura's design in this movie, right? Once we go into the future, we see she has this new, I think, great design. Probably my favorite for her. I didn't remember if it was from the movie or from the manga, but yeah, I understand now. So yeah, let's get into this, man. Came out in 2013, and, you know, it's Gintama. And as we've said many times on this show, it's gonna do what Gintama does. And I gotta say, man, the opening bit for this movie, I was like, is this still going? Is this like a...
That's right. They kept on going for a while, and I'm like, okay. When I first watched it, so I was just like, what am I watching? And I'm like, oh my god, it's still going on? Really? I'm not surprised anymore. Like, this is a typical Gintama thing.
Yeah, you know, I thought it was going to be like in the first movie to where it was just like the opening bit. Remember like in the Warner Brothers logo stuff that pops up in the beginning? And you can hear Gintoki and them talking. Yeah, I thought it was going to be like that. And it's like, oh wait, no, this is actually part of the story. And I was like, of course it is.
Like, oh shit, yeah, they actually ingrained it. Well, I'm glad, like, the beginning of the movie is part of the story compared to the last movie where they tried to start the movie like 4 times. It starts off very well, and they even make fun of The Wind Rises by Ghibli.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it's The Wood Rises.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of jokes in here as well. One of the first interactions Gintoki has, right? Like, here comes all these thugs coming in from Edo, and then you have like a parody of the Fist of the North Star opening.
Oh man, this movie was way ahead of its time too.
Yeah, sitting here watching it, and all these guys are just like, yo, man, where's your mask? Don't you know there's this plague going around? And I was like, did I just watch this at the perfect time? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, right? Plaque? Like, no, not plaque. We brush our teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, the story is Gintoki gets sent 5 years into the future, and he has to figure out, like, oh, what happened, and to stop what happened before it actually happens. He meets Kagura and Shinpachi when they're like 5 years older, and their character designs are really good. Like you were saying, especially Kagura's.
Yeah, and you know, it's with Shinpachi's, I like it a lot as well. I always thought when seeing the design that he was working for the Shinsengumi or something. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like. But no, it's just him on his own. I probably like their designs better here than in the manga during the time skip there. Although with Shinpachi, I'm kind of like, I don't know, it's either or for me, because I do like the manga version as well.
I like how Gintoki commented on both of Kagura's and Shinpachi's, like, design. He's just like, how the hell did he go from, like, being a loud brat with glasses to this, like, cool middleman? How did this girl with, like, no sex appeal become this, like, babe? She became tsundere, like, anime character. Because she's just like, it's not like I wanted to fight with you.
Gosh, you know, one of the things for this film was, okay, I know there's going to be a lot of comedy in here, right? Because it's Gintama. But I think there was I think it was just too long of a setup to actually get into what's really going on, right? I think once after the Shinsengumi show up with the Joy Patriots,
Oh yeah.
like after that point is when I started liking the movie a lot more because it got more, actually like, okay, let's actually get into the story. Let's get a little serious here, guys.
What did you think about Elizabeth?
My God, Elizabeth was just so. It was so ridiculous, man. Just like in the manga, we get a showcase of all the characters and what they've been doing these past 5 years, and Elizabeth just got super roided.
Scary as shit. Also.
Yeah, and then Sogo Sogo becomes the Batosai, right? Obviously parodying Rurouni Kenshin. The 3-hit gag with Genkai, Katsura, and Kondo. I was like, yeah, of course. This is classic Gintama stuff here.
See, one thing I noticed rewatching it, if you look at Hijikata, his uniform looks very similar to the real life Hijikata.
Oh, really?
Like, if you go on Google Images, and you type in Hijikata, look at the 3rd photo, and then look at, like, the 1st or the 4th photo. My second time watching it, now I know who it was, I was just like, oh shit, that does look like him a little bit.
That's pretty cool. That's a nice little touch in there.
Yeah, that fight was, like, really ridiculous. They're all fighting each other, and then he boops, Gengai on the head.
Yeah, and it turns out he's not even real and all that, yeah. Yeah, like I said, a lot of humor and gag in here, which I was like, I'm fine with having that in the movie, but I just think there was like a little too much. And then again, once it started getting serious, once they're at the hideout for the Joy Patriots and the Shinsengumi, I was like, okay, now I'm really focused into this. Everything after that was, for the most part, like all the middle section of this movie was really solid.
Especially the part where they're at the hospital.
Yeah, the hospital is where, the real stuff started coming in, and we find out that, there's this white plague, like we said earlier, and it's turns your hair white, gets you sick, and then you'll eventually die. There's no cure for it. Mm-hmm. We've seen everybody except for one character, and that was Tai-chan, and then we find out that she's the one that got hit with this virus, and, going through a second rewatch on it, when they start bringing up the virus and all that, and Shinpachi keeps saying, like, yeah, let's not talk about that, and then, you find out why, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah. That's why we got the big change in his character.
Yeah, man. That middle part was really sad.
Getting the reveal that, this enemy that, looks like from during the Joy War, what are they called? The Blight?
Yeah.
The whole time we're thinking, this is the actual enemy, who's back from the past. But it turns out it's the future Gintoki. He ended up not dying in the present timeline. The explanation of what's going on was very interesting. For him to have Genkai's just build a time machine for himself to go forward in time to stop him and figure out what to do was really nice. I think that's probably my favorite aspect, because it really shows a lot of growth with Gintoki. A lot of even early on in the film as well, we get some growth with him. We can see how much he cares about all the characters when he's talking to Kagura and Shinpachi, and it's like how they're not really working together anymore. And they're not on the best of terms, and it hurts Gintoki to see that happen. And I was like, those are my favorite aspects.
I get you.
Of the film.
What'd you think about the whole thing of him being like, "Oh, a Chinpo-san"?
Yeah, it's a play on words, right? It's because Tama is kind of like balls, right, in Japanese, and so it's like, oh, I need an alternate name, and it's just like, oh, I'll just go with Pin-chan, right, like penis. It's like, oh my god, come on. And just the design, I was kind of glad we didn't get to see it all that much. But when we did see it a few times, it was funny.
Oh, yeah. And he's even shaped like it, too, like his hair and everything. But yeah, overall, like, it was a pretty solid film, and I enjoyed it. Oh, I even like towards the end, where, like, all the characters meet up, and, they're, like, kind of fading away.
Oh, yeah, and then, towards the end, there's that humor as well.
The freaking Shinpachi. Yeah, he's just like, what the hell? Why my glasses? Overall, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, for the most part, I enjoyed the movie. Once we actually got into the meat of it, it was really great stuff. My other complaints has to be, again, they do it here. They did it in the ending of the manga, that Kagura and Shinpachi throw back their old designs. They get rid of their new outfits and throw on the old ones. Cause it's like, oh, hey, it's like Yorozuya's back again. I understand on a sentimental phase, but I just stick with the designs. I think they're it's better off just to have them in those. Stick with the new outfits. I don't particularly mind having the old outfits in, but I feel like I'd rather just see the new designs. And then the other part for me, I was like, I mean, I get it, because it's like, oh, it's the final chapter, and it's like, oh, everybody's here in the past fighting alongside Gintoki, Kagura, and Shinpachi. And I was like, I'd kind of rather if it would have just been those three.
Yeah.
You know, instead of everybody else there fighting the Yamato and then attacking the Blight, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Oh, which I have to mention, another cool part was the end of the movie, right? When they're fighting the Blight that Gintoki kills in the beginning of the movie. And who shows up to help him but Gintoki of the past, you know, and they're both attacking. That was pretty cool. Even in the, like, outside during, like, the giant fight, right, we also see that Katsura of the past joins in to help a little bit. That was pretty
all the
cool.
past and future characters, like, met. That was probably, like, my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, especially at the end of the movie, it was the shot of, you know, of the four boys, right? Gintoki, Katsura, Shinsuke, and Sakamoto, you know, from the past. They all, you know, kind of watched over the fight, and then so they, you know, they took their way. That was pretty cool.
One of the reasons why I really enjoyed this film. Funny enough, I watched this first before I watched the Benizakura. I never watched the Benizakura until, like, months ago before we did the review. I liked it more because it wasn't just a retelling. It was something new.
Yeah, I really like that Sirachi came in to write this movie. I always think it's great when a mangaka can write the script for the film based off of their work. Like Oda, for example, you know, he helped work on the past, like, 4 movies for One Piece, and they've all been solid. So that's, I always like when they do that. Yeah, overall, this is, it's a good Gintama movie. If you take the Gintama part out of it, I think, it's pretty good. I just, again, wish the humor just kind of just ended sooner and we could actually gotten further into the film.
Yeah.
And I guess it has to be because it's Gintama, right? So you have to throw in the humor. Mm-hmm. I remember when we talked about the manga, when it was just non-stop, back-to-back crazy stuff, right? Since the Shogun assassination arc. And then when we finally got the break in between fighting Utsuro, you know, all the comedy had to come in. It's like, yeah, we can't forget that this is also a big part of Gintama. So I think that's why it's always going to be there whenever anything new comes out. So I'm sure when we get the new animated film, whenever that's going to come out, there's definitely going to be a lot of humor in there. And it'll probably start off the same because it's like, oh, hey, look, another movie. Oh, my goodness, type of deal, right? Mm-hmm. If I had one more complaint, it would be the fact that it is almost impossible to find the Blu-ray for this movie.
Oh, I got very lucky. I bought it for my friend, and it was like $80 on Amazon. This was like in 2013, 2014. This was a while ago.
Yeah, I was trying to find it because I would like to own this movie. I guess I'm just going to have to grab like the DVDs for it because I could find those better than the Blu-ray. And if you do find the Blu-ray, yeah, I'm looking right now like $50-$40 for it, you know. Pretty crazy. And that's one thing that kind of sucks about having a series like this, like Gintama, you know, because as it's, you know, it's pretty big, right? 700 chapters, has 2 animated films, a third one coming, 2 live action films. I would say it's a pretty big thing over there in Japan, but when you come out here, you know, I don't think a lot of people talk about Gintama. So when we have the opportunity to get movies like this, trying to buy it is just going to be impossible, basically. So that always sucks.
It's very hard to come by where it's like you have to like watch it online or like through a different way, you know?
But yeah, definitely check out this movie. I think it's worth your time if you're a Gintama fan. So that's going to wrap us up here today, guys. Thanks for sticking around. And, you know, if you're still down, Grant, I am also down to give a look at that live-action Gintama movie.
Same. I gotta find out where I can watch it, and then I'm down to do a review for it.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Oh, it is? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, again, thanks for listening, guys. We'll definitely be back for that live action, so stay tuned for that. We'll let you know on the main episode and all that good stuff. So while we wait, you can send us an email at unversepodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments, you know, what'd you think of the movie? We'd love to hear about it. We'll talk about it on the next episode, as always. And then you can follow us on social media at unversepodcast. Anywhere you go, let you know when the latest episodes drop. So thanks, guys. Catch you on the next episode.
Data Cat.